Hi everyone, Greggo here, and we are going to be demonstrating the Press Your Luck software today. This is what the software looks like when you first boot it up in Flash Player. After you get to this point, you're ready to begin, but before you get to this point, if you have buzzers that you're utilizing with Joy to Key, make sure that Joy to Key is already running with the correct button configuration. That configuration can be found in the instructions that come with the software. So from this point, the page up key moves us through the opening and takes us into the first question round. Here's what that looks like. Today, these three players are after big bucks, but they'll have to avoid the whammy as they play the most exciting game of their lives. Press the page up key again. From Television City in Hollywood, it's time to press your luck. It'll go through the opening here. And then once it's done with the opening, it will stop shifting the slides. There we are. Now, at this point, you would introduce the contestants, and then the board has an attract mode that shows you how it runs, and you can demonstrate how the board is stopped. So I'm going to do that now. Again, the page up key is what does this. And we stop the board just like I'm about to do. Big bucks, no whammies, and stop. And I want a trip to Costa Rica. So there you go. Push the page up key again, and that puts us into the question round. And the way that works, press the B key to activate the buzzers and ask the question. A player will buzz in. Let's say player 1 buzzes in. It looks like this. And at this point, you get their answer. You get the answers from the other two players. Now, the 1, 2, and 3 keys are what turn on and off the lights. So let's say that player 1 was correct, and let's say that player 3 was correct. Press the 3 key and it'll light them up. 2 did not get it correct, so you don't light theirs up. Press the F key and it will flash the buzzers for the correct players, and Shift 1, 2, and 3 are used to credit spins. So Shift 1, it automatically knows to give 3 spins to the player that buzzed in. We don't press Shift 2 because they didn't get it correct, and Shift 3, and as you can see, it gives them 1 spin. Press the B key again to activate the buzzers. This time we're going to have player 2 buzz in. And in this case, player 2 was incorrect, but players 1 and 3 were correct. So what we're going to do is press the 2 key to turn off the light, and then press the 1 key and the 3 key to turn on the players that got it right. And again, hit F to flash, and player 1 gets another spin, player 3 gets another spin. All right, and let us activate the buzzers again for the third question. And this time, let's say player 3 buzzes in, and let's say everybody gets it right this time. So the 1 and the 2 key, everyone's lights are on. Push the F key and everyone flashes. And we credit spins with Shift 1, Shift 2, and Shift 3. And it sees 3 spins for player 3. For the final question, let's say nobody buzzes in, and you push the X key to sound a buzzer. And let's say that everybody gets it right finally. It'll give everybody 1 spin. You can flash the buzzers, and we're going to transition at this point into the spin round. You can still credit spins once you've begun the transition, so let's do that. And player 1 gets a spin, player 2 gets a spin, and player 3 gets a spin. And in just a moment, these contestants are going to take these spins to the big board for some big bucks. Stay tuned. And you're going to push the page up key to start the board in motion. Press it again to have the slides fill in with round 1. And there we are, and the board will start rolling. Now you need to wait for the music to stop before you transition into the spin round, or else you're going to have music overlapping, and it's going to be very loud and aggravating and annoying. So there it goes. The music is stopped, so you're ready to progress into round 1. Again, you use the page up key to do that. Let's move into round 1. As you can see, the board has begun in motion, and the scoreboards are now showing the dollar amounts and so on and so forth. So, the board is smart. It knows where you've landed, and it knows if you've landed on a square that has a directional arrow on it. And I'll demonstrate that as we get into the round. So in this case, we would have player 2 going first because they have the fewest spins. So let's do a couple of spins and stop. All right, so $550. The program knows to credit $550 to player 2. We're going to roll the board again and stop, and 500 in a spin. Now notice that the board will add the money but not take away the spin. It automatically knows that on any square that has a spin. So they're going to take one more spin, stop, and there's our first whammy. Hit the W key to start the whammier. That's all you have to do. The computer already knows who stops the board on a whammy, so it automatically gives that player the whammy, and it takes away a spin and it puts them down to 0, and that's it for them for this round. Let's go over to player number 1. Let's see if I can demonstrate some of the other features of this board. Player 1 is now up and stop. Oh, and another whammy. There are 12 whammy animations. Again, these are back from the days when it was anime pressure luck, so they are anime-themed whammies, and as you can see, the whammies on the board are the anime-themed whammies that we used to do. In order to avoid getting into trouble, we're going to continue to use my whammies on this throughout, so the software will only be available with these whammies. They cannot be updated. So let's see here. Let's roll the board again. And stop. $450. All right. They're going to keep going. I want to try to land on a directional square so I can demonstrate that. $550 takes you to 1,000. They're going to go again. And stop. And there's another whammy. Alright, so it is 2 whammies in round 1, so I'm going to demonstrate how passing works. The player who is in control is the last player who stops the board. So the program already knows that if you pass spins, they will come from the player who has last stopped the board and will go to the player that you denote. Shift I, Shift O, and Shift P are the passes. So if you pass to player 1 at Shift I, to player 2 at Shift O, to player 3 at Shift P, they're going to pass over to player 2. So I hit Shift O and it automatically bumps those spins over. Now let's see. Let's go back to that player and have them stop the board. And stop. $500. It takes one away from the past spins, as you can see. And one more stop and $600. So there you go. And now the past spins are gone. Player 3 is now going to go and stop. $450. As you can see, it transitioned after the board stopped. Now the program knows to go ahead and give the value that is currently showing, no matter when it stopped. So the program's smart enough to go ahead and change the value to the 450 that it is currently on, not the 550 that was on there when you push the stop button. This is to avoid a situation where the board credits a different amount than what is actually shown. And stop, and $300. Roll the board again. Let's see if we can get it onto a directional square here. Stop, $200. And stop, $500. Stop, and another whammy. What a game we've got going on. Get to see most of the whammy animations right off the bat. All right, for this last spin, I'm going to try to force it onto a directional square. So here we go, and there we go. Perfect. Move one space. Now the way these work is the arrow keys, when you push them, depending on what square you're on, will determine where it goes. So in order to go move one space, if you push the right arrow key, it will go there. From here, if you push the down arrow key, it will jump there, and then you can just keep hitting right arrow, down arrow, right arrow, down arrow, and it will do this. So there you go. And they're going to pick 300 in a spin because I want to see if I can hit another directional square here. Let's see. And stop. Oh, good. I can demonstrate add a 1. The program is smart enough to know that if you've got 3 digits in your score, it'll throw a 1 at the beginning. If you've got 4 digits at your score, it'll throw a 1 at the beginning of that. If you have 0 in your score, it'll add 1 at the beginning of that. So the add a 1 will automatically add $1,000. And I can also demonstrate how the prize slides work. So There are, in round one, 7 different prizes, and each one has a different button press. In this case, add a 1 is the D key. So if we push D again, it will transition to the next prize on the slide, which is the Nintendo Switch. Press it again, and it goes to 500, which is the last prize. Each of the prize squares in round one have 2 different slides. In round 2, they have either 2 or 3 different slides, depending on what square they are. So that demonstrates round 1. We're going to go ahead and transition out of round 1 back into the question round. The page up button does that. And again, we wait for the music to stop before we move into the second question round. So you guys got to see some whammies, you got to see the directional squares, you got to see how add a 1 and the prize slides work. There'll be more of that in round 2. And again, we wait for the music to stop here. All right, and now as the music stops, we push the page up key again, and we move into the second question round. All right, and I won't demonstrate how this works again. We're just going to go ahead and credit spins. You can do that by using the 4, 5, and 6 keys to go ahead and give and take away spins. We're going to give everybody 6 spins as we go into it. So let's transition into round 2. Again, we're using the page up key to do this. All right, so as the music stops, we can then go ahead and push the page up key again to transition into the second spin round, which we'll do here. And as you can see, the values are changed for round number 2. There are all sorts of different prizes on the board. And we'll just go ahead and get started and see where the board lies so I can demonstrate some more features on this board. We'll start with the player in the last place with $0, and let's roll the board and see what he gets. Big bucks and stop at advance 2 spaces. Now again, it's a directional space, and since you're going to be moving to the left according to the arrow, if you push the left arrow key, it'll automatically jump it over to 1750, and then press the space bar to credit the score, just like before. And we're going to roll the board again. Big bucks, no whammies, and stop. And 2,000 or lose a whammy. I can demonstrate the unwhammier here. And we're going to go ahead and choose the unwhammy feature. If you push the U key, it will pull a whammy down, just like that. So now they have 1 whammy. And we can take a spin away by pushing the 4 key, just like that. The 4 key, the 5 key, and the 6 key are what change the earn spins. The 7 key, the 8 key, and the 9 key adjust the past spins, just in case you make a mistake somewhere down the line. We're going to roll the board again. And again, the computer knows who to unwhammy. It's whoever stopped the board. So we stop, and a trip to Santa Barbara. All right. And Santa Barbara has a value that you have in your files that come with, and it will credit the score and go to $4,713. All right, and as before, we push a key to change the prize slide. In this case, it is the H key, which will change Santa Barbara to a Hamptons trip. And we'll roll the board again. Big bucks, and stop. $4,000 and a spin. There we go, all right. So now 8713, and as you can see, once again, it did not take a spin away. And we'll roll the board again. Stop. A motorcycle this time. All right, so the motorcycle will credit its value, brings you up to 13,612, and then we transition to the next prize, which uses the F key, so Shift F changes the motorcycle to a ski vacation, And 13,612, that player is going to go ahead and pass. Now you need to manually decide where the spin is going. I did that because if there's a case of a tie, we don't want the computer to credit the wrong person. So you have to physically tell the computer who to pass the spins to. Now it knows who to pass them from. And again, we use Shift P because they go to the player with the next highest amount of money. It's the I, the O, and the P. Shift P, and it will go over to player 3. It's player 2's turn now, though, so we'll go ahead and roll the board for him or her. And stop, and advance 2 spaces. Again, the left arrow bounces over to $2,000. And they'll go again. Big bucks, and stop. 4,000 and a spin. And there we go, up to 7,100. Roll the board again. And stop. And now across the board. So again, that is an arrow pointing right. So if you push the right arrow key, it will jump across the board to 750 and a spin. Hopefully we'll get to demonstrate pick a corner. We'll see what happens when we get there, and I may force it just to show you how pick a corner works. Or big bucks. And stop. And there's big bucks. All right, now we need to jump to the top of the board. So here we push the up arrow, and it'll bump you up to 4,000 and a spin. And there you go. Spacebar credits that. All right, we're going to have player 2 pass. So we hit Shift I this time, and it bounces over to player 1. And it's player 1's turn. So here we go. And stop. Move 1 space. Okay, here's another directional square. Push the up arrow to go up, the down arrow to go down to the ski vacation, and you can bounce back and forth between the two. And they're going to go with 1,000 in a spin. I want to show you how it credits the spin on this. It'll stick 1 in the earn column and take 1 away from the past column, just like so. There you go. Again, the computer knows that if it's adding a spin, always add it to the earn column. All right, so we roll the board again. The computer also knows always to take a spin away from the past column if there are any spins there. And it's still their turn, and stop, and this time a whammy. And the computer knows to move the rest of the spins over into the earn column on that whammy. So, good thing you hit that lose a whammy earlier because it could be in serious trouble otherwise. And stop. Across the board again. So again, the right arrow takes you over there for $1,000 in a spin. Roll the board again and stop. 750 and a spin. All right. I'm going to aim for pick a corner here, so let's see if I can get it. Okay, we got the trip to Australia, which is big money. Takes you up to 11,185. And in this case, Shift L transitions to the next prize, which is a trip to Trinidad and Tobago. The prices on the prizes I took from watching recent episodes of The Price is Right and taking the prizes there. So they're updated prices for recent times. So that's how I got those prices for those prizes. And we're going to have player 1 go ahead and pass those spins back to player 2. So Shift O does that. 3 spins over there, and it's his turn. So there we go. Roll the board. And stop. 5,000 and a spin. Again, it'll stick 1 in the earn column. And stop. Oh, another whammy. You guys might be able to see all the whammies in this. All right, so now they've got some catching up to do. See what happens. Big bucks and stop. A pool table for Dan. All right, and that's worth $3,495. Shift A changes it to the double your money space. All right, now the computer knows that if you land on that, it doubles whatever happens to be in the pot, just like it knows with add a 1 exactly what to add to the score. So let's roll the board. And stop, and there's 5,000 in a spin. All right, so 84.95, and they're going to keep rolling. They want to hit double your money. Double your money. And stop. 12.50. Didn't get to double your money. 97.45. They're probably out of the game. Player 3's turn. They've got 2 spins that they have to take. And let's see what we can do here. Again, I'm trying to force pick a corner. Electric bicycle. And that takes them up to 34.29. 1 more spin. And to change that, it's Shift K, which changes to the car. So this game is not over yet. And stop. Okay, so I know it says 500 in a spin, but that's also where pick a corner is. So we're going to pretend that it was pick a corner, all right? And I'm going to demonstrate how that works. On pick a corner, if you hit the C key, it's going to bounce through the 3 corners, and wherever you want it to stop, you just stop it there. Let's say they go for the 1,000 in a spin. So there you go. We push it, and 44.29 now, and it moves that last spin over into the earned column. So we're going to roll the board. So that's how pick a corner works. There's 500 in a spin, so see, they got the 500 anyway. There you go. We're going to keep rolling. We want to try to get them in the second place. Stop. There, that'll do it. The trip to Costa Rica puts them up to first place, actually, 11,877. And to change Costa Rica, that is shift G, which now changes into a trip to Barcelona. And stop. And 750 and a spin. Trying to build up a little bit of a lead before they pass. And stop. Oh no! Here comes another whammy.
Apples.
All right, so more catching up to do. We're getting close to the end game, which I'll show you when we get there. Stop. There's the trip to Barcelona. That's a good one. It's worth 8,563. And again, shift G puts you to a snowmobile. Again, there are 3 prizes on most of the slides in round 2. Just because there are more spins potentially to hit, so there are more prizes. And stop. $700. Still not into second place. Roll it again. And stop. Advance 2 spaces to a trip to Jamaica. That'll do it. The trip to Jamaica bumps them up to 16,843. It's shift J to change the prize slide there to some diamond jewelry. Player 3 is going to pass. Shift I puts it to player 1. And let's see what happens as we go to the last couple of spins of the game. And stop. Oh no! Alright, so an interesting conundrum. Player 1 needs to get into second place and keep a spin in order to have a chance, which they're going to try to do. Let's see what happens. Stop. Stop at a whammy. Alright, so I get to demonstrate the end whammy. Normally, if you push the whammy button, just the W key, it will do a whammy animation. On the last whammy of the game, you typically don't want to play a whammy animation because the game's already over and you don't want to add insult to injury. So, shift W, press it twice, and it will just simply add the last whammy. And then if you push page up, it transitions to the end of the game. Now the program already knows to flash the winning score. If there's a tie, the computer will flash both or all 3 if all 3 players are tied, and then press the page up key again to play the end music. So there you go. Most everything on this program is smart enough to do what should be done, assuming that you push the right buttons in order to move around the board and you change the correct prize slides. The lower right-hand corner has 3 different prize slides, so it's important to make sure that you have a printout of what prize is in which slide so that you can advance things properly. Now, you are given with the software files that have all the prize slides and where they correspond to, what key presses they get. So if you have this board customized, you will get prize text files that give you that information based on what prizes you've chosen. Alright, so we're into the end of the game. Press page up to move to the next act, the final act as it were. And then from this point, you congratulate the player, and they won some prizes along the way. So if you push the page up key, it'll play that music. If they didn't win any prizes, you can push the page up key to start that music and then immediately push it again to stop it. But we're going to hear that music. So take it away, Roddy. And at this point, you will tell the player everything that they won. Those prizes total a certain amount of money. Added to the certain amount of money in cash you won gives you a grand total of $16,843. Congratulations. So there you go. It will continue to play until it is done. As you're talking to the other contestants, wishing them the best of luck, and so on and so forth. When you are ready to end the game, you can push the page up key again, and it will go straight to the end credits. So there you are. Now, there is one extra feature that is baked into this game, and it is an audience game, and I'm going to demonstrate that. So let's have a little jump cut here. All right, we jump cut. I've restarted the software, and I'm going to move into the audience game feature. If you hit Shift M from any screen, it will automatically bump you into the round 2 board and credit everybody with 5 spins. This is an audience game that I played if we had time when I did this game at conventions. And it's pretty straightforward. Everyone gets 5 spins. You pull 3 players out of the audience, and you do it kind of like the big wheel on The Price is Right. The first player will go first, and they will continue to spin until they are satisfied that their total is going to beat the other 2, and then they can stop, and you can take all their spins, the remaining spins away using the 4 key like that. And the same goes for player 2 and player 3. Whoever has the most money, if you push page up from here, it will automatically, once again, and as you can see here, in case of a 3-way tie, this is what happens. And that's how the audience game works. This is, like I said, this is baked into the software. If you want to utilize it, feel free. I didn't see a need to take this out, but again, it takes you straight to the round 2 board. So there you go. So that's the Pressure Luck software, and I hope you enjoyed this. And like I said, it is available in the Etsy shop. It is available for customization. I do have a customization item in the shop. If you want to set this board however you'd like, then you can also purchase the customization when you purchase the software. So anyway, thanks. My name is Greggo, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.